Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Ben's Brick Designs. I'm Ben. Thanks for being here. Hello Dusty. Hello Greg. Hello Missy. Thanks for being here. Sorry, started a minute or two late. I had an issue with the cat. Probably going to have another issue in about an hour. He's taking medicines, and I got to try to pill pop him. And as anybody with cats knows, pill popping cats is no fun. So when Beth gets home, we're going to try again. But yeah, so thanks for being here. I hope everybody's doing well. Let me know how the video and the audio look. No lights because we're going to do some design stuff tonight. So I randomly decided to do one of a couple things on this stream because somebody has given me feedback on a couple of these items, and I wanted to look at any of these, but see if anybody had any questions about studio. I'll be doing another studio talk at Brick Rodeo this coming July 4th weekend in Houston. I've done one now 2 years in a row. Well, for the two Austin ones, I haven't done one in Houston, so this will be my first one in Houston. So I'm getting back into trying to figure out all the ins and outs of the software. It hasn't changed much in the past year, but I want to make sure that I'm up to date on all the changes. So I might go through these and just kind of poke around a little bit. But these are the biggest projects that I'm working on right now. And this one's kind of a secret program. I'm not really supposed to be showing this a whole lot, or what it's gonna be for, but we can work on a few things inside of here. I will say this is going to be a building that is a entertainment type building. So what I thought I'd do is build maybe a couple arcade cabinets, which I haven't done before. This is obviously the Q2 stadium, and I've got some cleaning up to do on this one section, so I thought I'd do that real quick. And then somebody commented on the Frost Claw saying it needed more tubes and stuff around its neck, which I agree with. So I might take another crack at finishing this guy up, even though I'm not super happy with how it looks overall. I think it's probably too big, and this could be the Fire Claw instead of the Frost Claw. So that's what we're going to look at. I'm doing well. My day's been going fine. It was a work day, but tomorrow I'm going to be driving to St. Louis with Beth. We're going to meet the ladies and the kids there. We're going to meet Beth's family. We've got tickets to see the PWHL Takeover Tour. So that's the Professional Women's Hockey League. It's going to be the Boston Fleet against the Ottawa. I think it's the Ottawa Charge. They do a thing where there's only 6 teams. So they go to different cities to try to drum up support. And probably find out who has good crowds and where they could get a second team. So like Detroit's been a big turnout. Denver's been a big turnout. I'm hoping St. Louis is a big turnout. For people who want more teams. I'm sure Vancouver would be a great place for one. Probably not going to have time to go up in the arch. We're driving out tomorrow. We've got the soccer game in the middle, or the hockey game in the middle of the day on Saturday. And then we're going to a concert that night. Her brother wants to see a concert. And then the next day we're going to the Austin FC game. The Austin FC is playing St. Louis FC. And then Monday we're driving home. So it's going to be a whirlwind vacation, and we're not going to have a ton of time. But it's Beth has to be back for her job, so we want to make sure to get back before Monday. So, all right. So this is a section. I'm going to take this piece off. I'm going to take all these off, and we're just going to go back to whatever it was. here. I don't know why that's there. We haven't finished really that section. I just want to kind of get rid of get all this over there. So yeah, not too bad of a day today. It was slow at work. So I'm not too worried about anything. Started packing a little bit, got everything kind of figured out for the house for while we're gone, and making sure our friend came over and gave him the once over for the animals, so they could take care of the animals for us. And that was about it. Move that over one, and put a 1 plate in there. So how's everybody else doing? Everybody good? I'm going to put a brick in here. And this is going to be, we're getting rid of all of these long pieces here. Yeah, going to another city and not doing the city's big touristy things sometimes feels like a little kind of a cheat, kind of a bummer of a thing, but I think we'll be fine. I want to stagger these a little bit so they hold together nice. Trying to decide if that's a good. That's probably good. I know I had a couple business trips to New York when I was younger, and I knew a lady who lived out there. She was someone I went to college with. And while I was out there, she's like, "What do you want to do while you're here?" She's like, "Are we going to go visit the Chrysler building or anything like that?" And I was like, "You know what? No. Can we... What are you doing tonight?" And she's like, "Well, I'm hanging out with you." And I'm like, "I know, but if I wasn't here, what would you be doing?" She's like, "Going into the village and watching a concert, a show." I'm like, "Okay, let's do that." She's like, "Okay." So we spent, and then like the next night we went to a spoken word thing at this little coffee bar. The next night we went to a friend's house and played games, Like I didn't want to do, at this point it was the Twin Towers. So it was, or was it? Yeah, it was shortly before that. I didn't want to do any of that. I don't like doing touristy things. I like doing what the locals do. And if the locals just go home and play board games, that's what the locals do. All right, so that's finished, and I can group all this together. So yeah, going to St. Louis is probably going to be a similar thing where we don't go necessarily to see the arch, but the arch wouldn't be too bad to go see. I wouldn't mind doing that, honestly. It's pretty cool. I just, at this point, I don't know if we'll have time. So that's my big concern. So, not a lot of Lego news. Continuing the Lord of the Rings saga. Saga meaning you're going to get the Lamborghini icon set. Cool. Speaking of, I was going to bring this up. Formula One seems to be the thing right now. Lego F1 seems to be where it's all at. If nobody's really noticed. There are 6 movies in the Lord of the Rings saga? That's interesting. Are you counting the Rankin Bass Hobbit and the... I'm just kidding. I know The Hobbit is a trilogy as well. And if anybody wants to watch it, that's fine. So I'm going to give this a shot tonight. This is one of Beth's beers. It's a raspberry sour ale. It's by True Love, made in Texas. It's Martin House, which is one of my favorite breweries. Martin House does some good stuff. If you don't know Martin House, they do, they're the ones who first did the best made pickle beer. And it was phenomenal. Martin House always, their sours are always really good. This is a blueberry sour, and I'm not a blueberry fan. But I like Martin House enough to try it. That is definitely sour. My goodness. All right, so all I really wanted to do is group this. Now, I just wanted to clean it up. I'll go back and clean this one up here as well when I break it out. So I just wanted to slide this back in. This is going to be a problem eventually, because I kind of backed myself into a bit of a corner with this. But it may play out in the end. I'm not really sure. This lines up okay with the other top section here, but they don't line up with the new way I've set up the bottom sections. So I'm still trying to figure out how to attach these so they're one piece, but also maybe so they're not one piece, so they can be built separately and then put together. So I may cover the top in tiles, or because I don't want this necessarily to be bumping into studs and trying to attach itself. But if it does bump into it, I want it to be as flush as possible. The problem with doing that is it creates kind of a break in the lines of how the letters look, and it doesn't look as nice. So still not 100% here. Battle of the 5 armies. All right, well that's the last one, isn't it? An unexpected journey. I don't know what the middle one is. One's about Smaug, and then the Desolation of Smaug, and then the Battle of the 5 Armies. So you're on the last one. Yeah, Unexpected Journey, Desolation of Smaug, and the Battle of the 5 Armies. You're almost done. Go watch that. I'll be here. All right, so this one I'm leaving alone for a little bit because I'm not in a good, like, I'm still not convinced. After building it, right, I redid this. I raised it up 1 brick right here instead of sitting on the 6th brick, because if it was a little farther that way, it would fall back, and I wanted it to fall forward. So, but now, what do I do with this piece? Do I attach it up here and have this whole big thing? And where does that get attached? And does that attach to this plate, or does it attach to this plate? So there's questions. So I'm still mulling these over and what is the best way to do it. All right, so I'm going to save this. And we're going to go look at... let's look at the Frost Claw for a little bit. I just want to see if anything gets inspired. What's up, Dusty? Oh, yeah, that's the worst. So Beth is going to be home any second. And at that point, at 9 o'clock-ish, I'm going to need to go pill my cat. And that's a 2-person job. I don't know. I don't understand how 1 person can do that. Because you need to be able to hold the cat. You need to be able to get the pill popper into its mouth and then keep their mouth closed until they swallow. I can hold the cat. Like, I can do this and hold him, and she can pry his mouth open and pop and then close it and wait. It's a 4-handed operation. So anybody who does that by themselves is a hero in my book. So this represents one of the animals we saw initially at the end of, or starting with the Horizon Zero Dawn DLC, Frozen Wilds. You run into a Frost Claw first, and then you run into a Fire Claw, which is like it's about twice as big. And I ran into an issue where this one I feel like is a good size for a Frost Claw, but I thought that the Frost Claws and Fire Claws were the same height. And I was informed later, and they were right, that a Fire Claw is much bigger. So I'm going to try to go back and see what, if we've got any comparison shots about how big it is compared to Aloy. I was using this this was a nice image that we were using. Remember that? This one was also a nice image. And you can kind of see how big she is in comparison. She's a little farther away, so got a bit of parallax here. 1 second. All right. um, I'm back. Sorry. We had to discuss stuff. She just got home. The stadium looks mega. Are you building that on your own? So the stadium is a project by which I hope to bum rush the front office. I actually took the field off of here because I had a whole full field out here too, but it was getting in the way of like looking at the pieces and kind of whatever. What I hope to do is get the design done, figure out how to put it all together in real life from the design, and like take it apart in chunks and be like, okay, it's really easy. All we need to do is get the parts and then show the front office. And being part of the supporter group, there are people who kind of run the supporter group who also know the front office. So I'm only a couple steps away from the people who make the decisions about it. It's an experiment to see if I can do it. I'm trying to follow up with the Texas Capitol building to see if I can do something big again like that, and it wasn't just a fluke. The problem is I'm running into is the Texas Capitol. I could get away with building a big hollow square that was just walls and nothing inside it. And that's not a really great way to build stuff. If you're just building it to be looked at as a design and it's not going to be built in real life, sure. A big hollow nothing that's 60,000 pieces is perfect. But trying to build it so I know it can be done in chunks, 10 by 10 by 10 cubes, right, is going to be really tough. So, for instance, there is a scoreboard that's going to go right here, and it's as big as that, right? And then on top of that scoreboard is a little gantry. And then on top of that gantry is the roof. And the roof will extend all the way up to where this pole will basically extend all the way up to the roof. Then there's another segment of seating over here that also goes all the way up to the roof. And the roof is basically a big, I'll show you a small version. This is basically what I'm building, right? I'm building a big version of this. So this, the section I was working with, is just this section right here. So that's where I'm at, is just this section. I put that in there. There's your pole right there, right? So the roof is supported. It's not supported in this model, but in the real life model, it's got major supports here, these 4 big pillars all the way around it. But then all along the way above these other buildings are little supports, and around the corners there's little supports. And then it kind of attaches up here too. So I have to figure out a way to do all that sectionally to where I can build it. If I'm going to build it in my house, I have to be able to build it in manageable chunks, right? And then find a place where it can all be put together to test out, to make sure it works. And then take it apart. and say, okay, it's ready to go. Where is its final resting place going to be? Where is it going to live? And then if they want it in the stadium somewhere, I know of 2-3 spots in the stadium where it could live that are inside, and they could put maybe a big case over it so it doesn't get bumped into and stuff like that. But I have to get a design first, and that's going to take a while. It's already taken way too long for me to get to this point, and I've been sitting on this section for like 9 months. But it's hard to figure out. Like, this is the main concourse level is right here. That's the main concourse level. So everything under here is not anything I'm going to build. Nobody's ever going to see that. But this is also where like all the shops and stuff, all the beer stations and restaurants live on this section under here. And then, you know, all the way around, that's the level that everything sits on. And then the field is down in it. So it's a lot of different construction things that I've got to try to figure out. And sometimes it's hard to do in digital. So you have to figure out, you have to build it in real life, you know, and see if it actually works. So I just keep plugging away at it. But this guy, so if we look at this, we can see how big he is. And this is the Frost Claw. Now, if we were to look at the Fire Claw, I don't think we're going to get too many images, but it is bigger than Aloy. And I don't know if we can see how much bigger, if there's going to be an image with her next to it or not. Kodiak, what's up? Haven't seen you in a dog's age. Here we go. This is probably a really good image. How you been, sir? So you can see a Frost Claw is much bigger than, or a Fire Claw is much bigger than a Frost Claw. So this I feel like is a good size for a Fire Claw or Frost Claw, I think. Like if that guy were to stand up. But this guy is easily, well, that's the thing though. I can't really. Yeah, this guy could be probably the Fire Claw, and I could build the Frost Claw a little smaller. So maybe I'll work on that. Thank you. I appreciate that, Dusty. Yeah, thanks for being here. It's been a while. I mean, I'm glad you're busy, but I'm hoping it's good busy and not, you know, bad busy. I also may start completely over on this guy. I don't like the way the shoulders work. Not a fan of how the neck is attached, so I may scrap it and start over. There are a handful of other ones that I'm working on. What was the other one? Scorcher is one. Scorcher is one that can be, I can probably build it. Because it's virtually the same. I think I made enough changes, but here's the thing. Now that I know how Lego built it, maybe I'll come back here and beef up the arms a little bit. But this is another one I could probably just go ahead and start ordering the parts for and get it built. But this guy shows up in Frozen Wilds as well. So, what was the other one I was working on? I think it was in Forbidden West. So I think I already started with a Burrower, and I don't think I got done with him yet, or maybe I did. Yeah, Burrower's done. Oh, I forgot what ones I was working on. Anyway, so to change this though, if I wanted to do a Fireclaw, the Fireclaw himself is, the coloring's a little different. We can get a better image, better size. It just isn't, nobody's got a, there we go, decent size. So it's hard to tell scale, but I think Aloy comes up to about the knee on this. That's what it looks like. About the knee. But the Frost Claw, maybe it's hip. So it's hard to tell like which one I've got right here. Hip-ish. Gotta try to lower these guys. Get them on the same level. Yeah, I mean, I guess that could still be Frost Claw size. The problem is, too, in order for him to bend all the way over, those legs don't work. It's going to be... So I'm not, like, again, I'm not super happy about it. I may start completely over. Maybe there are just some things that don't work really well. But it's, you know, it's a pretty good start. It's not terrible. What is in here? What did I do in here where that's all hidden? Oh my goodness. I made this as complex as Get Out. Why did I do that? This is another one, Dusty. You'll appreciate this, that I'm going to have to build in real life and see if it works. I think I did this so the top, so the torso can rotate. So this is probably a fairly long pole. That'd hold together, I think. That wouldn't be too bad. I might try to do this in real life and just see what it looks like. But yeah, the neck itself is what I'm having problems with. So let's focus on that for a hot second. If I were to look at a good... So this is the difference in here is this is an overridden Frostclaw. You can tell because when she overrides something, it doesn't necessarily change color, but it's always a bluish color after that. But the biggest thing is that there are these tendrils. Overriding for Aloy in the game, you're basically corrupting the machine. She stole a component off a corruptor, which is a machine that corrupts other machines. She stole a component off of that and put it on her spear, and now she can override machines, but she's corrupting them for good. So that's why they're blue. I don't know how she was able to, as a barbarian savage, figure out how to change the polarity on that component on her spear, but hand wavy video game logic. So the difference here is this one has not been overridden yet. It also has a nice little watermark up here, or a logo. So my guess is this is an official image from Gorilla. But you can see, either way, you can see like the hose and tubing and sacks that making these animals very, very difficult in Lego. So I try to use different rounded parts, and in other animals I've used sausages and curved tiles and trans clear minifig heads and like whatever else I could do to kind of give it the indication of it being a bag or a sack or something, because all this is like these fill up with biomass from the area around it, and it stores it in here, and then it shoots it out as frost or fire or whatever. So it has to be these sort of expandable things. So the complexity of getting these tubes to look right is complicated. And I tried several different, methods of like getting stuff hooked on here with bars and angled pieces, and nothing really, so like that's a way to do one thing. It's just hard to make it look right. Curled up capes would be great. I wish I could do that in Studio. So that's my thing, is I have to try to make sure that I can build it in Studio, because for a lot of these, I have a few of them on Rebrickable, and I want to keep pushing them out to Rebrickable. I need to finish up some instructions so I can do that. Long-term plans. Like, I've got all these long-term project plans. This is one that's been in the pipeline for years, but I want to be able to, like, you also can build this. And doing something like curling up a cape is going to be like a photo of my hands with a curled up cape saying, this is step 238 in your instructions. So, but yeah, that's a great idea. Pieces of material are great because most of the Lego pieces of material have holes in them or slots that you can either put a bar in. We just did it. What set did I just do? Oh. The Da Vinci Flyer, the wings on the Da Vinci Flyer. As I knock Da Vinci off there, you can see they have holes in them, and you put those little those tile pieces in there to hold them in place. So it's got the stand things underneath it, and then you put those in there. Some pieces of material like that, where you can kind of secure it that way, that would be ideal. Hasn't played these games. Man, I know you're gaming enough to do this, and it's on PC now. Is there a speculative biology thing going on, or are these machines creatures created by some entity or faction? So, I don't want to ruin too much, but there are 3 types of machines in the game, and they were created. So, yeah, I think I kind of want you to find out. I think you should play the games. They're not created by any humans. They're not created by any factions of humans. Speculative fiction or speculative biology, not really. They're mostly patterned after some analog creature like a bear or alligator. But I will say that there are 3 types of machines. There are combat machines. There are resource gathering machines. And then there are what are called chariot machines. And I don't know why they're called chariot. A chariot machine would be a Horus, which is the natives call it a metal devil. It's the ones that's like the size of a mountain, and it's got these giant tentacles coming out of it. And in the first game, they're kind of perched on the edges of the map, and they're frozen, they're dead, and you just see their tentacles kind of snaking down the mountains. Another chariot is a Deathbringer, which is just a big gun platform on 6 legs. Another one is a Corruptor, and the Corruptors are the ones that go out and they shoot missiles, and they got big scorpion tails, but they also corrupt other machines to fight for them, basically. You find out why there's resource gatherers and combat machines kind of as the game goes along. Most of the machines you run it's half and half, I would say, but the resource gatherers, like, they're deer and hippos and what's another resource gatherer? There's ones that look like a triceratops. They gather biomass and take it back to cauldrons, and the systems within the cauldrons use it to create more machines. And as you play the game, you find out why. You also find out why there's so few animals on the earth. So all this stuff kind of shows up as you play the game. It's part of the story unfolding. So real quick, I wanted to see what this looked like if I did. I don't know if I did this twice or not. And again, if anybody has questions about how any of this works in Studio, just let me know. I know that I do this a lot and I just talk over most things, but if you have any Studio questions, please feel free to ask. I watched a live stream. Bricklink has their own YouTube channel, and they had a live stream where somebody was going over kind of the basics of studio. And I was like, oh, this will be cool. I kind of like this. And I felt like Ron Swanson in a Home Depot. I know more than you, because I'm in the chat answering like everybody's questions, and I wasn't letting the host answer any of the questions. And I was kind of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be in here doing this. I'll let them, you know, whatever. And it was super basic stuff. It's like, when you're starting out, here's how you do this, and here's how you do this. It would be the same exact talk that I would give at a convention or something. It's like, here's how you manipulate the software. Here's where you start. Here's all the things you can do. Anybody have any questions? Not much has changed since they started in terms of, and I don't like that. That doesn't look good. So I'll get rid of that. Rid of all that. Let's go back to whatever that was. Let's see, what did I say I wanted out here? We had sausages, we had these claws. I was working on something over here. Forget what it was. Oh, I was looking for any rounded pieces. Since then, we've had a couple new pieces. I'm wondering if those would help out at all. Trying to think of what all the new pieces are. There was curved slope. Let's take off the printing. This is a good piece. Don't know if it'll be of any help. That can't be in that color. I'll do dark gray. So this might be a good piece. As you can see, if I can figure out how to attach it, there's only, this is the bad part of this piece. There's only one attachment point. And it's a stud. There's no putting a bar in there or anything, right? So if you wanted to put that as a, you'd have to put an open stud thing in there. Yeah, the curved snot bricks. I think I had one over here. One of these guys. These will be helpful. I could put in several of these on the sides. Just kind of ring it. These come in what color? The barbs come in dark tan, black. Blue might be good for this guy. But I don't have anything blue, so black it is. So useful, kind of useful. I was doing something with this. Let's get rid of that. I don't want two of these. This guy, I'm trying to think of another curved slope that was newish. We've got this, which is only a 3 height instead of a 4 height. That's newish. What does that curved element look like on the snot? What does the curved element look like this? That guy? You mean like that? This is new. That's probably a little big. This is kind of new, but that's not what I need. All right, that's all kind of not new. So then we also have sausages. This was, I was using a lot for other animals because this comes in a lot of colors. I can do dark gray. I can do, should be able to do gray. I think I can do that light blue. Nope. Thought I could do a light blue, but maybe not. Sand blue. I can do sand blue, which will not be too bad. So I did a lot of sand blue and some other builds. These would be great if they weren't always so curved. And if I could get something slightly thicker. So these would be great. The problem is you have to, something has to hold these, and they won't, if the neck bends, it won't bend with it. So it has to be relegated. This whole thing is attached here, that joint, and here, this joint. So this is so the whole neck can, like if this is the shoulders, right? The whole neck can move up and down or whatever like that. So that when it stands up, it can be like this. And when it lays down, it can be like that. So it has some slight movement, but the head is jointed so it can look around. That's probably not the way this is, but it seems like it would be. So in order to get these things to attach, you need clips. You can have... I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question all the way, Dusty. It's hard to translate what you mean. You can attach them through these guys, but they won't cluster together very well, right? In order to cluster together pretty well, they have to kind of be on clips. In order to get them on clips, they have to kind of stack. So if you wanted to do a clip like this, and a clip like this, and have them stacked on something, just so I can get an idea of what this looks like. Do that, and then this, and then this, and then this. So you can do this and that. Also, while they're in the software, it's hard to tell them to do different things because it's not like it'll run through on a smooth circle. This is like 45 degrees, 45 degrees. But that would look pretty good right there if you could get a bunch of them kind of together. The problem is then getting all of this to sit in here, which wouldn't be completely undoable. But I'm trying to think of what else is new. They have a newish clip. This piece might be helpful at some point. Comes in black and gold and green. The black will probably be of use, but like if I wanted to do a couple of these and then have a couple sausages in them. Look at the flyer. Some of the new pieces got on here. There's now a 1x3 curved or round plate. Oh, that's a really cool piece. I don't know if anybody saw this one. That tile, it's a 2x2 rounded tile, a tongue depressor shape. That's really cool. This is a good set. Got flappy wings. It's not bad. I keep apparently knocking Da Vinci off, but so this also makes me think that maybe instead of a vertical thing, I do a rounded thing. So let's get rid of all this. I just had this epiphany. It won't look as good, I don't think, but let's see, we have to keep, oh, whoops. I deleted the hinge. I don't want to delete the hinge. So, rid of that. This is the basic skeleton of the neck. I think I'm going to get rid of that too. And I don't think I need that. So I could do the same thing as with the body and build concentric rings all the way up. But I don't think that would look as good now that I think about it. Trying to think of what you would do. You know what else is a good piece for this is a banana. And bananas come in an oddly large number of colors. They come in dark blue. They come in dark gray. They come in light gray. They come in dark blue. And I think sand blue. White would be good. Trying to see the color schemes of this. Nothing else really would work for this guy. That's dark blue and gray, I think, would be the ones. But this looks good as a sack thing too. And this might work a little better because you can use these guys as a thing to hold on to them, and then just slightly turn them. That, and then stick another one on there, which is kind of what I did for the bellow backs. So that's a good look right there. And you do that 2 or 3 times and you've got, you know, the sacks that you need in there. So that combined with some sausages, I think, is probably where I'm gonna go with this. So that's a good pause point here. I'm gonna take a break. I hate to lose all you guys. This will just take a minute. I have to go give my cat some medicine before he can eat again tonight at 10 o'clock. So if you all give me just a couple minutes, I'm going to put you on pause, and I will be back as soon as I... Do I not have a pause thing in here? I don't. Let's set one up. I don't have a pause screen in here. You guys are going to learn some setting up features. Image. No, I don't want a sticker. I just want an image. Existing source. Oh. Aha. So, I apologize for that. I didn't have a pause screen in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And I'm going to have to set up the audio in there too, so... I think it pulls desktop audio in there automatically, I think. But give me a couple minutes and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back on. All right, back to it. Thank you for your patience. So, if I can figure out how to get these guys to attach, that's the next step. There's some new brackets and whatnot, but I think what we'll try to do is just use a regular set of brackets to start and see how much we can jam in here. And if it gets too clustered, we'll figure something else out. For those who have cats, you know the struggle in pilling them. That looks pretty good, honestly. And it'll move a little weird with the rest of it, but so if I wanted to do, then the other thing is you got to kind of fill in the underside here too with stuff, because it all looks like it's all this twisted tubes and stuff. So it's gonna be a little weird to figure out. What? Zell wants what? Oh. So, but this is where this piece comes in, because this is a new piece that I think will be very useful. That can go under here. Make sure I get it rounded properly. Attached to something so I can get you the right direction. That direction. There we go. I'll put this up under here somewhere. Like that. Then I can put one of these sausages in there. That. Actually, that should come out a little bit. So let's do another bracket over here. And a plate. And put this guy back in there. That looks like pretty good. I feel like we could do another layer of these and have them come out a little farther. And then if I wanted to put another hinge over here, or not hinge. When I was growing up, these pieces that were angled like that, we called them hinges. And I don't know why. But that's what their names were when we were kids. I don't think I want that there. Let's do an up one here. Get a different layer. No, not far enough away. Okay. So that can go away, or I can rotate these down. And rotate these up. I think that needs to come forward a little bit. Not quite where it needs to be. Or Not too bad, but it's starting to look like horns and not tubes. So, not exactly what I wanted, but it's not bad. Because I mean, it all ties back in, so these guys hanging out like this is not ideal. So maybe not this many. And this guy I kind of want tucked back in between these two, like that. This a little closer to this guy. And then maybe starting to do some sausages. Clip. Again, this is just me playing around with it. I'm not really sure I like this exactly, but that's good because it kind of works itself in there a little bit, overlaps. And then we can do like curved plates on the top again. Because this is enough of these guys. If I could do one more of these guys out a little bit. Like right here. I'd like to see your keystrokes on screen. It's a lot of mouse manipulation. Would you like to see them as they're pressed? I don't know if I could do that. Is there something that would rig to say I just hit shift? It's a lot of shift. So right click on a PC anyway. This is gonna be different from a Mac. But right click, if you hold down right click, it will rotate the view. If you right click or if you left click, it creates a bounding box, right? If you hold shift and left click, it moves the whole thing. Right and left click. That's an interesting thing. Let me see. What am I using? Prism. Live Studio, show keyboard, show keystrokes. Let's see if this has it. Nope. Show keystrokes on screen. Okay, looks like I can couple of these. I don't think it's native to the software. Oh, I'm not using OBS. I'm using Prism. I'm sure the plugin probably works though. Probably a lot of native code for OBS that was used for Prism. Oh, look at this. We can change the gizmos. Yeah, that's much better. Oh, that's going to make my life so much better. Oh yeah. I hated those little things, man. What else can I change in here? That was a newish thing as of like 6 months ago or so. I don't like that. Outline edges. Yeah, no, that's a great thought. I will definitely investigate that because I'll be doing this for a presentation at Brick Rodeo, and it would be very helpful to show that. There's not many keystrokes that I use that are outside of the norm. So like V is your pointer. H is to hinge. Well, now it's not doing anything. Your WASD keys move stuff. Your arrow keys rotate stuff. Control C, Control V, Control Z, that kind of thing. That's about all I really use. So it's not a ton. It's mostly movement around the model space. And that's just mouse strokes, either mouse strokes by themselves or mouse plus shift. But that's definitely a good, and I'd probably try to stick it in the center, maybe. I don't know. Somewhere it's where you can see, but it's not like bugging me, because if it starts bugging me, I'm not going to want to do it. But I'm going to try to remember what my keystrokes are as I go through it, so I can see if it's anything out of the ordinary. For the most part, it's typical CAD or image manipulation keystrokes. Like if you worked between GIMP and Photoshop or Inkscape and Illustrator, they all kind of use the same. What am I looking for? What's the word? My memory is shot lately. Did you do something turning collisions off when moving the bananas? No, collisions I keep on. I don't have any keystrokes set up for any of these things up here. The only keystroke that I know of for these up here is hide. That's an L. And that gives you this hide. There's also, if you want to select multiple, if you want to change your selection type, you can hit Shift and V will change your cursor, and it's a different select type. And it'll select one of these. By color, by type, by color and type, or if they're connected to something, or invert your selection. And B, I don't know what B is. I don't know. It inverts it, it said, or something. Yeah, I don't know what that does. So if I wanted to select everything that was gray, when the palette keystroke comes up, that's all the gray bits. If I wanted to select all the parts that were bananas, or no, that's the connection type. That's not connected to anything. So here's the part type. So this should be all bananas. Oops, all bananas. Now if I wanted to select this part type and that color of just, you know, gray bananas, just that, or blue bananas. So I do that occasionally. That's Shift V. The collision. Oh, here's a keystroke. So, are you okay? Oh, well, don't do that. That hurts. With a lot of stub toes. So here's something that, and I'm going to try to illustrate this over here so it's not kind of in the way, but let's say you know that a piece is going to collide, but you're going to put it there anyway, like that. In some cases, it won't let you do that. Like this, you can already see it's not letting me do that, and it's going to collide. But in some cases, it will automatically not let you. I'm trying to think of a good way to do this. Like that, where it's got a transparent collision warning, meaning it's not going to go on there, and it's got a green bounding box on it. That means that it's got a good connection to something, but it's got a collision because everything turns wireframe. if you want to force that connection, because I can't click it. If I click it, the hand won't turn into then a pointer, right? It's got a hand holding it, little Mickey Mouse glove. I can't click it and it force it. If I hit spacebar, it forces it. And now you can see it's a blue bounding box with a pointer. This is pretty good in situations where you're doing something that's maybe on a very slight angle, but Studio's not smart enough to put it on that angle automatically. So what you can do is force it to do that, then grab it and hit H to hinge it, grab the hinge thing and rotate it. Let's see if I can find a hinge to give you an idea. How am I going to set this up? But yeah, so if you wanted to hinge something, and let's say you knew that nope, not that. Let's do a plate. And then this piece was going to go here. So you knew that what you wanted to do is put this right here. Now, you could do the smart thing and just rotate it up, right? But let's say you just wanted it up just slightly. So you hit space and it forces it to go there. And now you can take your hinge, you hit H for hinge, and you can move it into whatever place you want. So that space kind of jams it in there and goes, yes, I know it's conflicting, but I'll go ahead and make a change. Everything else is kind of a mouse click somewhere, like all this stuff down here. This is all very useful stuff that hasn't always been there. Copy and mirror is new-ish for a couple years. Find a compatible brick. Let's say you've got this hinge piece, but you want to know what attaches to it. You say find alternative bricks. Find compatible bricks, and it should list everything that has a hinge connection on it over here, right? Or that can connect. The problem is it also can connect to the studs on top. So technically, most things will be able to connect to that top. But it looks like it's smart enough to be like, yeah, that's a hinge piece that goes there. I haven't set up any specific hotkeys like to do anything. Shortcuts, brick control. Yeah, force release brick space. Control A, typical, move, typical, rotate, typical. This is kind of new where you can rotate 45 degrees just by clicking on it. So whereas before you had to tell it, I want to hit hinge, and you can either grab this or, right, you can grab that line, or you can click on that and type in the degrees you want, which is very useful. Or let's type this back to 90 or 0, I guess. You can click on this and hit shift, and it will rotate it, but it's not rotating it with the piece. It's rotating it in space. So you can see it's kind of, instead of the arrow keys rotating at 90 degrees, if you hold shift, it rotates at 45 degrees. Not as useful as I don't really use it for anything, but what's another? These edits, yeah, these are all pretty much, you can set some of these to be shortcut keys. Control T, that's for creating steps over here, create subgroups. That's one I use quite a bit. If I wanted to create this as a subgroup, because I'm gonna do this later, this needs to be a whole model, you know, highlight the whole thing and hit Control G. And creates a submodel. So this is now all one piece. And you can tell because over here on the part side, which is kind of below the chat there, it says submodel group, right? If you unhook that, if you hit this palette lock, you can now see all the pieces inside there. I know that's covered by chat, and I'm sorry about that. So these are all the pieces inside there. If you hit lock again, or you say return to the main model down at the bottom. Nope. Down at the bottom, it says return to main model. You click on that. I'm going to try something real quick. Can I make this smaller? And make that box smaller? I kind of want to get it just to cover that. The Windows bar. Wonder how to do that. Interesting. Oh, I know. I have to do this. Because I don't want it to cover the whole thing. This is also learning how to use That's cool. I can't make it any wider than that. And now I can make it bigger. Yeah, that's going to take a little work. Anyway, there's some stuff that gets covered under this text thing, and I'm sorry. That's entirely too big. I'm going to make that smaller. Okay, back at it. So, this is where I'm going to leave this guy right now. There's some good bits in here. I'm excited for, I think, using some of the bananas and the sausages. I think that's going to be a good look. And I think on the top, I'm just going to cover it in curved slopes. So it's a little more solid up top, and it gives it sort of that tubey feeling underneath. So it's a little bit of a mix. And then I think I'm going to be done with this guy, honestly. I might try to I might just try to beef him up a little bit, see if I can expand everything. So just slightly, so it's a bigger Fireclaw version of this. Because I don't think I can make it any smaller without it being like puny. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and save this. Now, the next thing I've been working on is an undisclosed location that I'm gonna be building a MOC for. And it's one of these sort of not adult oriented arcade, but it's like an all-in-one entertainment complex. And there are various kinds and brands all over the world. This is just one of them. But what I wanted to do was make a bunch of these. Video game cabinets. Now, I'm not going to be able to make the kind with the Pac-Man. This is the little panel that goes inside the back of the Pac-Man arcade piece. And it's super cute. And I'm basically going to be ripping this off to make this. A friend of mine who asked me if I wanted to do this project made these bowling alleys. And they've got a conflict somewhere in there. So I'm going to make a room with a bunch of arcades, but first I wanted to make some variations on an arcade cabinet. So what I thought I'd do is reverse engineer the one that comes with the Pac-Man set and go from there. Just see how this is made. And replicate it on screen so everybody can see. And this actually uses those two pieces, the curved snot pieces that we were talking about. So first things first, we're going to get some, and this is just going to be a basic, I'm going to change it because all video game cabinets look different. They've got different bits over the top and they've got different control panels and everything like that. So I'll make slight changes here and there. Oh, good. And I was smart enough not to call the file what this is supposed to be. So yay for me. As long as I don't show the folder that it's in, we'll be all right. I do have another project I absolutely can't talk about for about 3 months. And I can't wait till I'm able to actually talk about it because I've got the model pretty much done, but I can't say anything. All right, so that, and then we've got modified brick, but it's the little curved ones. Wonder if those are in modified brick or in 1x1 curved mod. Nope. Curved brick. Nope. 1x1 by 2/3. Yeah. So this goes on like a so. And this is a good way to make a side piece here. Side piece. In an L shape, right? Lots of snot features. And then this is like that. So that's 2 plates.
Yeah, I just think the medium-sized one is going to be just slightly too small.
Well, and they all don't have to go in one suitcase either. You can pack a suitcase for yourself, and I can pack a suitcase for myself. Okay, and I'll do a smaller one, or yeah, smaller of the two mediums. Well, I'm gonna be wearing one of my shoes. No, I can get it after this. I'm gonna take a shower, clean your car, pack. That won't take me more than half hour. Okay. So yeah, we're getting ready to go on our trip tomorrow. I think I was just gonna start talking about that. Whichever one of these is red. Perfect. All right, so that goes there. Then there's a printed tile that goes in front. So yeah, after this, I'm going to scramble to get packed. And are those just 2 plates? Okay. Because we're leaving bright and early tomorrow. And then a bracket. Thank you, Missy. Appreciate that. I was going to ask what everybody else has got planned for the weekend. Anything fun going? Oh, what? That is, you guys are going to die when you see the math, the Lego math on this one. I hope everybody else has a decent weekend too. And I hope you do something fun. And if you got plans, what are those plans? Let me know in the chat. Okay, now this is gonna blow your mind. This math right here. This math right here. Right here. All right, so we got a bracket and we've got the machine or the washing machine modified plate or modified brick. Look at that. I think that's just one piece. That may just be one piece. This is the computer screen for the video game, and it's got a sticker on it that's the Pac-Man sticker. But I mean, Jiminy Christmas, look how cool that is. Oh, happy birthday. Your birthday is tomorrow. That's nice. Happy birthday. We've got that's birthday weekend. Our friend Dan and Dara, Dara's birthday is Tuesday. So we got a birthday weekend next weekend because we're out of town this weekend. We were gonna do a birthday weekend with them, or they wanted to do a thing, and we're like, oh, we're gonna be out of town that weekend. So they're like, that's okay, we'll do it next weekend. And we're like, don't change your birthday plans because we're gonna be out of town. They're like, well, you're our best friends, and we want to do stuff with you. So it was kind of sweet. But that's cool. Wow, your mom. Well, happy birthday to your mom too. I hope you guys have a good weekend. You do like birthday week where it's like, hey, my birthday's on Tuesday, so this whole week I'm going to be doing stuff. And this is a 1x6. Ah. So that goes there. And then ooh. Okay. So this is a tile 1x3. Another plate. And what is that? 2 tiles here. Yellow. And then another tile. Where's my angled tile? There we go. And I need a wedge plate. Huh. Plate modified and plate wedge are the same icon. They need to change that. That's going to be black. That's going to go here. So here's a thing, Dusty. What I'll do, here's another keystroke. Sure nothing's over there. If you use your number pads, it changes your view to be straight dead on. 1 through 6 will be your 6 views, side, up, and down. So I usually try to find, if I'm trying to select a certain level or a certain side, and I don't want to like grab stuff that's on angle behind it, I try to do this dead on view, and you can move, you can shift move around it and not change that. That ensures that you just get, like if you just want to select this level of parts, you can do that. So then I'll do copy and mirror. I'll move that over, and now I've got both sides here. And this goes here, so we got 2x3 tiles. So this is your basic run-of-the-mill video game cabinet. Plate. What's up, Johnny? It is. I am doing something. So a guy in my lug was like, "Hey, do you want to do this project?" I'm like, "Sounds good. When do you need it done?" He's like, "Well, we want to give him something in a couple weeks." I'm like, "What do you need?" And it was a building with a bunch of stuff inside it. Building was no problem. Like, I can do a facade of a building in an hour. The rest of the building will take 15 minutes to throw down layers of bricks all the way around. It's the inside of it that they really wanted. And the inside of it is full of stuff. And I was like, okay, well, is this something I can do on stream, or is this like a lowdown, or keep it on the DL so nobody knows about it? And he's like, well, yeah, you can go ahead and stream it. Just don't say what the project's about. I'm like, so I can stream about it and not talk about the fact that I'm doing a giant building with bowling alley, video games, rope course, laser tag, and a bar and a restaurant. And he's like, yes. Okay. So I can't tell you which one this is. I can't tell you that it looks like this on the front. But I'm doing this. So he already did the bowling alley part of it. So what I thought we would do is, he had this idea that we make one big one, show it to them, and then they can do things with, if they want to order more of the parts to make the bowling alleys, they can do little bowling alley segments and give them away, or they can do a stand with a person in a little video game and give it away. Or a person, I don't know how to do the rope course or laser tag as a single, maybe two people, and they have got like the little badge things on. So get them the little minifig accessory neck pieces with the studs on the front, and just have a little light on it. And then like the old timey laser guns. I don't know if it's got it in here. If I type gun, it's funny to think that they will have anything in here. So like, this is a paintball gun, I think. No, it just says laser gun. So it could be that, but I think this one is neater. Where is it? Do they have it in here? That one's pretty cool. This one, I think this one is going to be the one that I do. They're the ones that are like old 50s. Oh, there it is. These. So one of those, right? And then the little neck brace. So that could be one where it's got like two of those and a person and a little target or something. That kind of thing. Yes, ma'am. You have a headache? Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, I figure we get up, feed the dogs. We got to feed the dogs, let them out, put them back in their crate. Stop at HEB for... We got bananas. We got cheese bites, so we'll need water. We got Cliff Bars. Yeah, so if we want to get some stuff to not stop for lunch, that's the most important thing. Breakfast, I figured we'd hit a coffee place and get stuff.
Mom and Dad said
That's fine. Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay, well, I'm gonna set my alarm.
Okay. Sounds good. Love you too. Yep. Ah! You. I'm just gonna throw it in a box to make sure there's nothing in it. Okay. Sure. Love you too. So this will sit. This is now done. And I've done a Control G to make a copy of it. So now it's just one piece. So the easiest thing will be to take this and replicate it 5 times and change the color, right? But, the view is really off. This is really bothering me. Thank you. That's a, I don't know if you can tell, back quote. I don't know what key the back quote is. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so that's what's doing it. Nope. What is back quote? I don't have that keystroke. There's a view in here when I was mucking around and changing the views like this. If you hit 7, it changes it from a perspective view to an orthographic view or orthogonal view, and that's really disturbing. It doesn't look right to my brain. It hurts when stuff moves around. We just pick one weekend, and my sister come over with her kids. We have cake and open gifts. That's nice. That's very sweet. Nothing in here is yellow, so if I wanted to, I could take this, and we'll make one more copy of that, and we'll just change the colors on this to green. We'll change the tile up here to blue. This will be Frogger or something. Then we can change the little control stick, get rid of that, change that Technip brick into a snot brick with 2 bits on it, and one will be a microphone. We're going to put a microphone in here, and the other one will be a little red button, little red tile. So here's game number 2. Boom. So now we have 2 games, right? What's up, Brett? How's it going? Thanks for being here. Appreciate you coming by. So now we have 2 games. Now, in order to change it again, we copy, paste. Now we can change this to an overhead. We'll do another thing, and then we'll do a slope. Sometimes they have those ones that kind of peer at you over the top, and we'll change this to a wedge plate. Like that. And both of these will be black. Then instead of that, we're going to change this to the home plate, or the tile, home tile. There we go. That's going to kill somebody. What colors can these be? Let's make this dark blue. So then all of this, get rid of that, delete, delete, delete. Then you have Galaga, right? So get rid of that, and this won't be black. Let's do, this will all be red. Can this be red? No, I said dark blue. Let's do dark blue. If there is a dark blue, cool. They're all dark blue. Dark blue. And the guy I know who's setting all this up, he can custom print a lot of stuff. So if we wanted to do little bitty video games and put in Centipede or Frogger or Galaga or Joust or something, we could do that. So we got 3 video games. I'll do dark blue up here too. Actually, no, we're gonna do red. Nope, it's too red. I'm gonna do dark red. That's better. And make this dark red too. Mix it up a little bit. Groovy. Different controllers. What are we gonna do for this controller? This one's gonna be 2 buttons. We're gonna do 2 buttons here. It's gonna be a red button and a blue button. Done. 3 video games. So this is how... What's up, Luffy? Thanks for coming on. Got about 20 minutes left, and then I gotta go pack. So, we have 3 video game cabinets now. I'm gonna go ahead and group that one. And I'm gonna group this one. Now, the trick here is these are great for like one wall. Right? That's good for one wall. There are... These are also good one-player games. There are multiplayer games. There are shooter games. And there are... there's a bunch of other types of games. So, would any of these work as a shooter game? I think this one would. I think these will work better as the laser tag guns eventually. I think that's a paint gun. It says laser Kryptonian. Anyway, I think that would look good as a laser, like a laser tag gun. I think this is too big. This is pretty hokey, but I like it. These might work the best as like a shooter game. So if we wanted to, I don't know if this will work or not. I'm going to try this. So we're going to copy that, put them over here, break them apart, get rid of these guys, and then I'm going to get some round plates, and I'm going to hinge it a little bit so it goes like that. You can kind of get away with cheating on this one a little bit. It'll go right up to the edge of that plate, but I got to make sure it doesn't. Yeah, that's too far. So it's not going to be able to go out by much. Wow, if at all. I think that wedge plate's too much in the way. So may have to do something else there. But that's okay. That's what we're here to do. So I'm going to get rid of that. Get rid of that. I think I'm just going to... leave that. I'm going to get rid of this. And then I'm going to do a brick. Actually, no. Let's do one more of these. And then a modified brick again. Friday Night Bricks, how's it going? Thanks for being here. Got everybody coming in the last 15 minutes. Makes me want to stick around. Hang out with everybody. I mean, it's my Friday night. I don't know about y'all. That comes out a little bit farther. Now can I use this? And will it... Nope, it's still kind of in the way there. Oh, you know what'd be great? A different... Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier. And put this back on there. And what colors do those come in? Black is perfect. That there. Black. What color does this gun come in? Probably something weird. Lime. Perfect. It's a little close. Right up on the screen, but it's not hitting the screen. I think that works great. In fact, it probably could come out a little bit, so let's do that. Just a little. Happy little trees. There we go. Cool. Now I can use this piece down here. All right, now we need a new color. Happy Friday Eve. Yeah, it's Thursday, 9:44 p.m. So we're going to change this back. I like the wedge plate here, but we're going to change the style of the tile. To what? What are we going to change it to? Let's do a regular tile, a 2x2 tile here, and then we're going to do an ingot here and here and another plate. We're going to do a full brick here. Modified brick. Can I do a grill? There we go. That's what I want. That black ingot tile. And let's see, what color scheme is this going to be? It's got a lime green gun. What other colors can this gun be? Pearl gold or flat silver? Nope, I like lime green. Are we building duck hunt? So, I was working on a snowy landscape earlier, now chilling in front of a computer. Nice. The Star Wars arcade battle pod, the one you sit down in, that's the wireframe shooting one. So that was my next thing. After I did some stand-up ones, I'm going to do probably two. I want to do two other ones. I want to do one where you sit down on a motorcycle. And I think I could probably fake it with a bicycle frame, because you can get a minifig to sit on that, but you can use some of these with clips and stuff to put like curved plates around, so it's kind of a little more motorcycle-ish, and then just put a screen in front of it, right? But yeah, the other one is to get a minifig inside of one of those pods and put a yoke on it instead of just a joystick. I'm only really going to have room for, it's just this segment right here. So I'm only going to have room for a handful of them. So I'll probably put like the back wall. It's always the back wall that gets the old games, right? And then I'm going to do an air hockey table. I thought about doing a foosball table, but generally foosball tables don't live in arcades much anymore. It was always air hockey. It's rare that you find a foosball table. Foosball tables are you more find those in bars. But yeah, a big sit-down game, maybe an enclosed stand-up game like the Tron game. And then I thought of another third thing over here, but I'm not sure what. Like a claw game, or a one of those where it's a big dome where there's like things pushing coins all over the place. Maybe a pinball machine. Yes, pinball machine. So I have limited space, but I want to do something like that. Because then this is going to be the laser tag area. There's going to be a information center desk checkout area right here. Then there's going to be a rope course that kind of starts here and goes over a lot of this till it gets to about here, right? And then this is going to be like a bar and a restaurant. So it doesn't have to be like 100% full of a lot of stuff. It just has to kind of be an indication of something. So let's see, what color? Let's just do dark gray on this one. Dark bluish gray. This actually would be better as this guy and a tile. Yeah, pinball I think would be a lot easier to build. Might try in the 10 minutes we got left here. The problem with the pinball thing is just like the video games, you've got to be able to put some detail on it that makes it look like a pinball machine. And believe it or not, last night, my regular nightly habit of imaging Lego builds in my head to make myself fall asleep, I was thinking about pinball machines to try to figure out how to do them, because like the video games, you can get away with having little things as, you know, that's a joystick, that kind of stuff. So buttons on the side for flippers. Do you want to build out, do you want to have a screen with stuff underneath it? How big do you make it? I mean, if you make it as big as this cabinet, let's try it out real quick and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So it can't be much bigger than this video game cabinet. And you can have one of these as like the top of the video game, or the top of the game itself, and have that be trans clear, and then have stuff in it, and then have the back built up. So if you wanted to do a mod brick, to be about as wide as the video games, you have to have this piece with some plates and tiles. So if we did that with plates and tiles, that would be about this big. That's your pinball, right? Could you put stuff in there? Or would you be relying on printing things up? You could also do a window. A window frame. I think there's tall window frames. Like that. And then you find your compatible brick and it should give you a pane of glass. And that's your pinball machine, right? I don't think anything wider than that. I don't think there's a 3 by whatever, but we can look. Yeah, we call it air hockey with the where you've got the well, no, foosball. We call it foosball. So foosball, we call it table soccer. We call it foosball. But yeah, it's this thing. So that'd be hard to do very small. But what wouldn't be hard to do, and I'm going to get back into this real quick, is you could have a let's see how big that's going to be. New tile pieces. Wow, 4x4. I wanted that to be in blue. Did you all know we had 4x4 tiles? This you might need printed. I don't know what kind of prints you could get on a 2x4 tile, but you might get lucky and get a little curved piece that looks like a goal. Otherwise, you have to print it. So you could do this wide, make it blue, and then you have a little thing that arches over the top of it for the score. You've got these round tiles. These are your paddles, right? So, and those come in red, I'm pretty sure. So those are your paddles, and that's your puck. And you put those wherever, right? One of these is a plate, and you put that on there. I don't think I could make a table soccer or a foosball table work really well. Unless you could probably just get away with a bunch of like, because it still has to be, you know, minifig scale. Reduce my... So you could do something like this and then do plate round, find these guys. Problem is these guys are expensive. So I would assume just using these to give the indication of multiple things on here. And these can be in metal, I think. Oh, I guess not. Okay, so let's just leave them as gray. And these guys can be in different colors. So you can do this. You have one goalie, you have two guys playing here, and then one goalie. So these three guys are red. Well, that's your puck color. These three guys are red. These three guys are, let's say, not red. Say blue, because the field's going to be green, right? So there's your, and then you just attach those to your table. So yeah, you could do an air hockey table or a foosball table. That's about as good as it's going to get, really. Arch. These tables are always on these kinds of gonna be better than that, but they're always on these kinds of tables with these arched legs. So that's gonna be a thing, right? I have different plates on here to kind of poke out the side and create the lip, and it'll create a thing for you can go across with the score. Sega Rally, nice. But yeah, so lots of things to do here. Pinball machines, air hockey tables, foosball tables. I think the foosball table we can get away with mod brick. I don't want printing. Turn off the printing. These might not be too close together, but I think I'd want them to be a little farther apart than this. But maybe we could get more players in there that way. Put two more here. Goalie over here. That. Actually, now that I think about it, this would all be these guys. So that on the back side you could have little knobs. And these would be bulbs. Like that. Or these guys again. Just worried that it's going to start looking too crowded. And these can be all black. Like that. Copy, paste. There's your foosball table. So, doable. Still kind of minifig scale, I guess. Here's your minifig, right, for comparison. So, not terrible. Raise that up a little bit. Not too bad. What is pushing down everybody over here? Oh, that guy. So yeah, something like that. And this doesn't need anything outside of that, so you can just kind of put some green tiles under that and some legs and be done with it. Oh, that's right. So this would be all blue teams, and this would be all opposite, red teams. That is correct. So this could be a modified brick, and it's after 10 o'clock, and I'm going to have to go. As much as fun I'm having with this, one of these, and that's your thing. And then have just a regular brick in between it. So, did I do it all for blue? I did. That's wrong. Should be that. There we go. All right. Well, this was fun. Thank you everybody for being here. Keeping me company late into the day. Yeah, this was fun in 30 minutes. Bunch of video games and some templates for some other stuff. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will not be here on Sunday. I will be in St. Louis. Getting ready to watch Austin FC take on St. Louis. Day before going to the hockey game, the Women's Hockey League. That's going to be fun. So you guys have a great weekend. Happy birthday again to Missy. I hope you all have a good weekend and stay safe and have fun and do good things. And I will talk to you soon.